Well, that was a fun little detour into the Obsidian Valley, but there is a place that I actually need to go around here. We got 2 Sigils of Karashiori, one from Giant Horse, one from the hardest, second hardest of the heroic bosses in the game. Now we're up into Amulvaro's Wizard Tower, where we're going to go see what the Galaxy Mage has been cooking up around here. Observatory, he is a Galaxy Mage.
By the way, I noticed when you save, it says his will over you goes stronger. Is that like another thing? Like you either when you die or when you save, that happens?
Yes. Okay. It does work like that. And you can actually see it in the stats menu.
Yes.
And that does make a difference for some things, but as it turns out, with my insistence on fighting every single one of the heroic bosses, it doesn't really make too much of a difference for this playthrough.
Oh, okay.
Because fighting heroic bosses, actually, we'll talk about that when it comes up in the story. Hey, look, there's an owl lord, owl king. Just, yeah. Because, wizard stuff. Look, you can never trust wizards. I was doing wizard things, and that includes, creating gigantic owl bear type of creatures.
Yeah, and I think we've mentioned this, but, what's the deal with the sprites, the way that they move like that? They have that very organic, almost like a mocap, like a low-res mocap look.
It's a style that you see a lot with, Vanillaware games, if you know, I suppose probably most famously was Dragon's Crown, if I remember the name of that.
Okay.
I would kind of describe it like puppetry, where each one of the individual limbs of a character and everything is its own sprite, and then it's kind of moved around to give it that sort of animation style.
Yeah.
I know I remember somebody making a comment on that where they're just I don't like this animation. It looks weird.
It's it's unsettling
because of that.
Oh, you know what it reminds me of? Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Cab Calloway. Is that a reference? Do the kids know about
I don't know that.
Betty Boop, Max Fleischer comics, where they would
okay close. I mean, that is an old animation thing, the animation cells and everything.
Oh, okay.
Wizard stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
See, what you do is you point the camera to the left while you walk backwards, do a little bit of a moonwalk. It's goofy and does not come up in the game except for this part right here. I mean, sure, we're good friends. Oh, I don't have enough. Sorry, Fink. Look, I still need to pull that lever though, so that's sorry about not supporting small businesses.
Fink is such a great character.
He's just all over the place in this game, and it's always just, get ready to be stabbed.
Now, I can't hear the music, but I assume that they just do some, ridiculous, wah, 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 like some funny little, duck, silliness whenever Fink is on the screen.
Not here. Amulvaro has, I'm sure you can probably guess what the music is. It is ambient and, choir-like.
Yes.
And but Fink does have his own theme, which we saw back when he was doing his quiz show bit when we fell into the sewers earlier, which is it's plink plonk piano music. You got it.
It's just very an Undertale / just the Bullies theme from a sitcom. I don't know, an animated sitcom.
Hey. By the way, if you were wondering what those gigantic eyeballs that are kind of flying around here do, well, they have a cast time once they see you, and when that runs out, they just drop an Owl King on you in a kind of goofy looking way. Well, there we go. Number 1, 5 great sorcerers in the world, but he's also very paranoid. Well, not that matters. Look, he's going to be giving me a sigil regardless.
Mm-hmm.
It's and I will be wresting that from his hands if he doesn't. Look, I got a boss tome. You know he's going to be the boss. This is not going to be an amicable sort of trade here.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's paranoid.
It's a good test to see
exactly
how far you've come in the game.
Well, I like that they're just telling you outright that he's paranoid, because it's well, okay, what do you think is going to happen here? He's paranoid.
Well, he's supposed to be... He's supposed to be like a scion of balance in the world or something like that.
You were
Why
supposed
is
to
he
bring
sitting in a
balance to the
tower?
force.
Yeah. Hey, it's another one of these things. Just like weird bubbles that kind of appear around here. This one a little bit more difficult to deal with than most. But
this is like a
I'm
proper
quite
boss. Like that has a ton of health.
Yeah, I would consider it more of a mini boss type
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
but as always, it is going to be important for things being done later in the game. Also, despite the fact that I have like the infinite jumps all around here, it's like I haven't really needed it just yet. Although it is doing quite a bit of damage.
Now, how many of these like mini bosses like this are optional, or is this just completely you have to do this to progress in the game?
Oh, this is completely optional. Did not even exist in the original version of the
Ooh,
game. This is an
okay.
Afterlife specific thing. And how many of them are necessary? None of them.
Wow.
What do you even get from this thing?
The
you
satisfaction
get
of
something.
having defeated him and some random item that.
Yeah.
causes-
Foreshadowing for later. You got it.
Oh, okay.
Look, well, it'll actually be quite a while, but that otherworldly flesh is important for something we're going to do eventually.
Just keep that in mind. Otherworldly flesh. I don't know what it's about.
Otherworldly flesh. Rotten, though somewhat of pelagic nature, or perhaps just rotten. Comes from another dimension. Well, anyway, we'll do that later. Just free Phoenix Feather upgrade. Nice. Why not?
Pelagic means
Well,
shadows, right?
Which one?
Pelagic. I know. That.
Pelagic means open water.
Oh,
Open
okay.
water.
Okay.
So like ocean. We're talking like squiddy things.
Oh, okay.
If you want to say like eldritch, but you specifically want to talk about like squiddy cosmic horror, use the word pelagic. It's a great word. I love it.
That is a great word. I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. Especially because eldritch automatically like you think of Lovecraft, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it could also be like, I don't know, pale modeled flesh too. It doesn't necessarily have to be of aquatic origin, but pelagic definitely does mean definitely of aquatic origin.
Yeah. Okay.
Void plume, no surprise here. Tainted by the void magic of another one of the major magical forces in the world. It's like we'll get to know a couple of them. Not, I think, like in the original game, Amulvaro was the only one to actually appear. However, Afterlife might have changed that a little bit. In the meantime, I told you that just like, despite the fact that these guys are mostly Garde Tomb type of characters, like they're using laser swords for God's sake, they do also appear in Amulvaro's tower, because I guess Amulvaro was just a fan of Garde Tomb and took a bunch of their technology there too.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, something you might have noticed around here as I've been walking about is that some of the corpses just kind of like seemingly spit out these tiny little parasitic creatures at you, which is very annoying. Like they'll literally jump out of bodies on the ground and then jump right into your inventory, and if you don't drop them, they deal. Okay, bye.
Go to Tomb. That was the electric place that it was incredibly high technology, correct?
Yeah, I got it too.
Okay. Because I love when games do that. It's like kind of like they're giving you like an anthropology about like the world, just in a really subtle way. It's like, oh, they took some technology from this place.
Yep, and that's why I got robots here. There's also another item here for like a mini questy type of thing, which I think I do in this episode. That it's like will also very much confirm that. Once again, definitely want to get rid of those guys before they and he's gone. I don't know what the deal with that was. It just look, collision in this game is not a problem for the most part. It just was right there. Okay. Like, look, this game has. I keep saying it's just like, yeah, Afterlife as an expansion is absolutely fantastic. Has really fixed like a lot of the major issues with this game. Sometimes it still appears here and there. There's the occasional hiccup.
I wonder if this
Okay,
game
okay.
has been being, if it's been successful since doing this, or if it's just been completely.
I think it has. At least
Okay.
I hope so, because I really like it.
Yeah.
By the way, yeah, this is the exact side quest. I guess I did in fact do it here, where you can just pick up an energy cell that's just kind of lying around Amulvaro's laboratory.
That room felt like a Metroid room right there, like that last one where you just you just.
Well, I mean,
fall down, pick up
I'm
anything.
just back in Garde Tomb because you have to carry that thing. You can't teleport. You have to carry it all the way back down here before the time runs out. And then you actually don't. I remember in the original game, you only got the Immortalite Stone, which was pretty disappointing. But now I get in the Salt Drone. All right. Now I got my own robot buddy.
Cool. Is there like an ammo with that? Or, like
Yeah,
ammo?
it's actually very limited, and unfortunately doesn't do as much damage as you want it to.
Okay.
I remember that from the original time I played the game. It also kind of shows you, even though that was supposed to be a glitch with the Villager Knight kind of falling into this area, it did sort of provide a clue that there was a secret area that was not supposed to. He's not supposed to fall through the wall.
Oh, by the way, I have a question about this. So you played the original, obviously. I think you did this on your channel a couple years ago.
Yep, 2018.
Was the writing really good then too? Like, did they? Or
It's pretty much the same. I don't think they
Okay.
really changed too much of it aside
Okay.
from adding in new stuff. So
I see.
they didn't alter it in that way.
Okay, I was curious because it's like that seems like the thing that you. I mean, because otherwise, why would you have bothered? Well, you wouldn't have even tried this game probably if the writing wasn't.
Well, I
there.
mean, 2D Dark Souls. It's just like, and I'm sitting here playing like Dead Cells all the time and everything. And it feels like, I had a few people request it, and I'm just like, and I watched some other people stream, and I'm like, yeah, this looks fun. Hence why I ended up playing that. It's not like basically anything that is Dark Souls like is going to enter my field of view in one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, God knows I'm going to be playing Elden Ring coming out here soon enough.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I took so much damage from those volcanoes. I was just trying to get rid of the little eyeball there because before it summoned even more of those guys, and well, such is hubris before a folly. Anyway, just totally crush these guys, no problem at all. Get their magic casting tomes, which why not?
Casting tomes. They're just casting
We are
tomes.
casting tomes. Ahoy there, ahoy. We
They
are
are casting tomes. Oh. Hell yeah.
Anyway. So, yeah, with the double jump here, they put a lot of stuff just kind of like around the area, too. There's a few crystals, if you want to fight some crystals. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
There's also a carrot there that I just walked by, but whatever. I got it later.
I think we all believe
Hey.
that if we strike the right crystal with the right sword, we'll be saved. That will be our salvation. But we
Yeah,
don't. Nobody wants to admit it. We've all had that thought.
In the meantime, though, there are plenty of Owl Kings just kind of like dropping down from the sky, as you can see there. Hey, those guys, speaking of Dead Cells, those guys can't like teleport back up to me, so it's fine.
Listen, we've all had
fine.
that dream where owl kings are falling like bears.
Where Owl Kings
from
are
the
falling,
sky.
even though they definitely do not have any animation for like falling. Which is, if you're gonna put like the abyssal eyes in the game, you'd think you'd want that, but nope. All right, so this is a fun little arena. Before you actually get to the boss, you have to fight. I guess I would call them like 4 little mini bosses. They're kind of like regular enemies, except they have extra fun shenanigans associated with them. This guy obviously is throwing out a whole bunch of bombs all over the place. And then you can see in the upper right corner, each one of these guys you kill, you also get a debuff on you that lasts until you beat all 4 of them at once. If you go back and save, they're just revived. So, yeah, this is the one that I really want. This is the item that I really wanted to get for the Dark Knight fight because, the darkness mechanic.
What is this Gray Wanderer, or are we going to get to that later?
Oh, yes, that's another one of the 5, along with the sorcerer known as the Black, and Amulvaro himself, who we're going for right now.
Is Amulvaro
There's
the
also
white
somebody
or
known
the gray?
Yeah, there's the White, the Grey Wanderer, the Black, and Amulvaro. And I guess one more, but we never hear about them.
Oh, okay.
They don't appear in the game. Sir, not appearing in this game.
Mm-hmm. So not appears.
Yeah, actually, like each one of the kind of like generic soldiers that have been fighting around here are part of like the army of the characters. I keep forgetting the name, like wizards. They do just call them wizards. Sorcerers is the word that they use that, but I kept forgetting that word for like 5 times in a row. All right, so next debuff that I got, taking out the crystal mass, I guess you could call, is healing uses up 2 plumes, which is a lot of fun. This is kind of the one that I like to go for first, at least the previous times that I played the game, because, one, what the hell even? We've never even seen an enemy like this in the entire game.
Yeah, this is really weird. It's like some kind of weird chicken bone experiment. I don't even know what to describe that as.
It sort of looks like a xenomorph type of thing.
Yeah.
Let's just chalk it up to wizard stuff. This is the sort of stuff that wizards create. But yeah, it's one of the most frustrating to fight due to its huge bullety type of nature.
It's Lynchian in the specific sense that it's like Eraserhead.
Yeah, gross. Yeah, it was like a chicken or something.
Yeah.
A raw chicken. And then rolling depletes stamina, so every time I roll now, that's kind of why I didn't want to do it first. And then last one, we have also another enemy that we haven't seen just yet, but we will be seeing later in this episode. He's got a shield on here, so regular attacks will bounce right off of him. So for like a very fast attacking type of weapon, like a dagger, it's very bad, but skills work out pretty well, which is why he was fairly easy to kill there. Yeah, it's like, man, taking out all of those enemies with all those debuffs on can be kind of difficult, but hey, I'm also a god gamer here, so I did just fine.
Yeah. And I helped. Or no, actually I didn't.
I like that Amulvaro's tower is like, it like literally doesn't exist. You went into like a gigantic broken door, but you're still in here anyway, because dude, with wizard stuff. He's a wizard.
I like that you just like, okay, here's the plot. Okay, because wizards.
Hey, to be fair, I think that is very fitting, especially for like, hey, Galaxy Mage, you know?
Yeah.
Why the antlers? I don't know.
Let time run its course. Soon you will fade.
No, it's cool, dude. I'm mortal.
Your existence is infinitesimal.
Yeah.
Of our universe.
I knew that already.
Yeah, well, so is yours, Amulvaro, so shut up.
Do you truly believe your actions mean anything of consequence?
It reminds me of like when Neil deGrasse Tyson had this tweet about how like, the universe is indifferent to our suffering. Remember that? And then Norm Macdonald replied, "But we're part of the universe, so that's a flaw in your theory. We can choose to care."
All right, well, welcome to the universe, by the way. It's Amulvaro. This dude is actually kind of a tough boss.
Oh yeah,
he's got a lot of attacks.
You're doing no damage to him. Like, it's almost no damage.
Oh, get used to that.
Is that going to be
We're approaching endgame here, man.
That is going to be a theme for the rest of these episodes.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, it's already was happening. Like, if you remember the previous heroic fights, but now it's even happening in the regular fights. And I'm taking like half of my health with every one of his attacks because I super do not remember the patterns here.
So these are supposed to be like water atoms or something.
Oh, I mean, he actually summons quite a few of these things, especially in the heroic fight. Basically, the way they work, and oh yeah, also, you do need to have some of them explode, even if you try like deleting most of them, because that blocks that attack.
Oh,
it's actually a very clever design for this fight, though frustrating.
Yeah. But why would he
basically?
Why would he send out water atoms that block his other attack? Like that's a pretty bad strategy.
I mean, to be fair, it also like deletes a lot of the arena that you get to fight him in.
This is a really wild fight. I like this a lot.
Oh, it's a pretty cool fight, especially on heroic mode too. But basically, the way those things work is that you see like the two white, I guess you could call them hydrogen, hydrogen atoms around the oxygen one. It basically the direction that those line up with. That's where the line of, let's just call them cosmic particles or something, will go. So if you aren't able to destroy them, or you want to try and like plan that out to be able to block one of the attacks, make sure that's not going like clear cut right through the middle of the arena, because otherwise that's bad. That will stay there for the rest of the fight.
Now,
if you don't get rid of them.
Is this as straightforward as you just go and fight him over and over until you win, or
as usual?
Okay.
I mean, hey, you know, that's the thing. It's just like I'm too much of a god gamer, of course, to lose to too many of these boss fights more than once.
Yeah.
But however,
how long did this one take?
This one actually not too long.
Okay.
The heroic fight took longer.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because you know, I still remember the basics of it. I just like in the last couple of years totally forgot the basic timing of it. But you know, all you got to do is just like dodge, and you can get through the sword attacks pretty easily. Like when you see the as you see that portal fully open up, that's when you dodge, and then here dodge. There.
Damn, I'm not gonna
you get like a free
feed your delusions of godhood, but yeah, no, that was pretty good. Like you did figure it out pretty much on the second.
Well, I mean, I did play it before.
Yeah.
This is again another place where taking out the bow really helps a lot. Now, that does mean that I am going to have to roll through each one of the lightning attacks if he pulls that one out, but that's okay. I would rather have that than have, like, the entire arena sliced in half.
It is kind of weird because it feels like this is one of those things where it's like, it's so rhythm-based that if you get the first one, you're going to get the next 6, and if you miss the first one, you're going to get hit, like, 3 more times.
Speaking about rhythm-based, hey, guess what happens for the next phase?
I gotta say, since I'm not, like hearing the music for this, I'm always like substituting in like UNO and Was Her from Toho.
No, it's here. Let me check real quick. Yeah, it is orchestral type of atmosphere.
Okay.
Yeah, just throw on Mars, Bring Up War.
Yeah.
You're good. Which, to be fair, is just like, that's in public domain. It's fine. Yeah, it's like, really take out the bow for this part. Don't try to jump up and destroy those things unless you're really confident in your ability to deal with, having the arena be cut in half. Oh my god.
So I guess
it's not that hard to dodge, but good god.
Yeah, it's kind of that weird thing where it's like you can't go lower than the ground, and so the way that you have, I mean, it has to turn around. You can't literally have no way of dodging it, but it's also like, it's just, you have to do it perfectly, don't you?
Yeah, and the fact that it goes back and forth means that it's like you have to try and like not stay towards the middle, otherwise you will get hit. Because he will just change it up. Yep. But come on, like, there we go. He has no health left. I told you, God Gamer, second try. Dude. Come on. There we go. And let the bleed take care of it. Anyway, because he's like one of the 5 great sorcerers in the world, he doesn't even like die. We just kind of go back here. It's like, oh, okay, fine. Look, you'll be sorry for interrupting my work. Anyway, bye. Here's your sigil.
Truly a fool's errand. Begone then, pest.
Yeah. He's just
awkward.
I'll see you later then. Still got a heroic fight to do.
Yeah, I guess I will try not to interrupt you. Guy who's still there, who's just there.
Could have just given me the sigil and let me go. Well, yeah, it's like compared to most of the immortals in this game, it's like, Amulvaro is extra immortal, so it's like this is more of an inconvenience to him than anything else. All right, next area to go to is down to the Magister's Labyrinth. This is one place that I dipped into really briefly after we went through Journey's End, but left almost immediately because, hey man, I got other stuff to do. I got sigils to get. I got like heroic boss fights to fight. We weren't gonna go immediately explore that the second that I got down here, but now we will. Which, as you can see, compared to like the earlier in the episode, I did in fact have like I think earlier in the episode I had like 2 heroic boss fights finished. Here I have like 8.
No.
No, I made sure that it's like I was kind of prepared for this one, because this area is entirely new. It is something that did not exist in the original game at all. There was nothing like this. And here, finally, yeah, you remember the stinger of an animal that I needed for the one sky tomb? Well, not the sky tomb. Whatever the puzzle area was called that I can't remember the name of.
Now, you mean the asylum or whatever? Or the prison?
Back at the original part of well, anyway, I needed a stinger of an animal. This is where you get it.
We were deceived.
Okay, nice.
Our order was once
Oh, like the riddle thing. Oh, I remember what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
What was that place called? It's like Sky Tomb was where we fought Sirad. But,
I don't think it was definitely a tomb that was in the sky. It just wasn't the sky tomb.
Nazarok. I don't think we hear about that at all. The exiled gods, though, we heard about at the very beginning of the game, which I thought that was referring to this guy's order, but no, there are actual exiled gods around here. We'll be seeing them.
I like that every single group of people in this game has a different relationship with death and immortality.
Yep, it's very like, oh my god, it's like, okay, so yeah, so far we've got Guarded Tomb, which is just like, technologically immortal. We've got, of course, Cyrodiil, which uses their big golden orb thing. These guys are like the secret society who secretly rules the world through their magistrates, who are distributed in every kingdom across the entire world of the setting.
Yes.
And they served death until they didn't, and started to give over souls, then basically propagandize souls for about the benefits of immortality rather than accepting death.
Yeah.
However, that just led to them giving them to the exiled gods instead.
Well, Magister is a perfect name for that because it's basically like a word like magistrate, but it's like the original Latin version of that. Like,
I think that's probably what they were going for. Anyway, yeah, the fact that you get like 1 million abyssal eyes around here, I think makes it clear what they want you to do. Yep, and yep. Yeah, sorry, dude, about that, but, I got other stuff to do. Anyway, this is Cyrodiil, the land of immortals. You'll be fine.
Wait.
I think.
Why did you skip that platform before that?
I don't know. I just decided it's like, hey, this one was earlier in the level, so I'm going to go down this one.
Oh, I see. Okay, just a choice, yeah.
Yeah, there's not really any, like, reasoning behind that, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I understand.
By the way, these, the big old, like, I guess you call them, like, bees, hornets, whatever they are. Those enemies are not, in fact, ow. Hey, I was looking at stuff over here. Those guys are not, in fact, invincible, even though I can't deal damage with them. They only take damage from elemental attacks, which I'm currently not using. And since, I'm not much of a mage, I haven't really had the opportunity to try and use that against enemies. Eventually, I do, which is, well, it certainly makes it a lot easier to go through these areas when you know that these bugs can actually be killed, but for right now. So yeah, that one weird Magister enemy that we never saw before back in Amulvaro's tower, here's where they come from. Are we going to see that for the one other weird xenomorph thing? No, that was like a one-off thing that never really appears again.
Oh, is this... Oh, so this is how you get through those little entryways. Is that right? This is the power?
Well, you can, but the eyeball itself has no hands. It can't pick up stuff.
Oh, okay. So you have to wait for a later power. Okay.
Yo, you get that super late in the game.
Okay, yeah.
Like, you get that, like, ridiculously late in the game. We got way more time even before that.
Yeah. I think that's a...
Hey, speaking of the 5 great sorcerers of the world. I already got the light of the Grey Wanderer. And hey, you appearing as a boss, you say?
Ooh.
Yeah. So if you're wondering who's heading up the Magisters here, well, it's another dude basically on the same level of Amulvaro.
Wow.
They're buddies. Just kind of works like that when you're tasked with preserving the balance of the world.
I guess if I were one of the 5 most powerful sorcerers in the world and I knew the others, I would either be friends with them or rivals with them. It would be hard to be...
I mean, to be fair, Amulvaro's not friends with anybody.
Yeah.
He might
Amulvaro's
have
kind
been
of
at
a
one
dick.
point in time.
He's kind of a jerk.
Oh, yeah, like, totally. And he's sure he might be one of the most powerful sorcerers, etc., and so on, but, like, that does not excuse his rudeness.
Yeah. Like, oh, I'm busy.
Should've just
You're
gave him the
immortal.
sigil. Yeah, it's like, whatever, man. We're all immortal around here. It's not even a big deal, really.
Yeah. Don't waste
I
my
made a
infinite
contract with
time.
death. Oh, hi.
Oh. Who's that?
This library
Gee, I wonder.
records of my Magister, who have altered the course of Cyrodiil's history.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about this a little bit earlier, but now we get the full rundown.
World yet, holding greater power than any king.
Yes. He who controls the information of the world truly
You
controls
know
the world.
what possesses
Is that a Metal Gear Solid reference?
Probably.
Nothing is mundane.
I mean, it possibly is. I mean, like, I guess... I'm saying that like it's a joke, but it's like, no, I mean, that was a big game.
Oh, well, that was a big part of, like Guns of the Patriots.
Yeah.
And then the Patriots plan entirely.
Now, you exist on the edge of a coin.
It's like they did an entire speech about that at the end of Metal Gear Solid 2.
It was like a 6-hour speech. Yeah.
But
It was 40 minutes. But
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
counterbalance.
Felt like 6 hours.
A left hand for the exiled gods. Are you comparing yourself in importance to me, but for the other
You
team?
fight to preserve this broken world.
Come on,
you
you're not
fight to
that.
see it
You're not
reborn?
even part of the original plot of this game. Don't have that level of self-importance
Do,
here.
do you fight to restore the crushed world, or do you wish to see it reborn? I'm looking for my mom.
Well, we already found
Yeah,
she
yeah,
died.
yeah. No, that's right.
That happened in the last episode.
That is true.
But I mean, hey, we're fighting to smash a big golden orb. That's the real thing.
Is that the motivation at this point?
I mean, death. We're contractors, you know.
Yeah, of course.
We're here to do a job.
Yeah.
Basically. Hey, lady, I don't know what you're talking about with the exiled gods, but I got work to do. Anyway,
I saw this picture on social media of like this team of like technicians, repairmen, like on this on a crane that was on top of a mattress.
oh, I
in a
saw
pool.
that too. I just remember one person commenting, "This is the picture that I want to show anybody when I have to explain what hubris is." Yeah, on top of like mattresses floating in the middle of like a pool.
Yeah.
It's like, holy Christ. But yeah, you float in the middle of the exiled god's pool. Well, I stand off on the side of death's OSHA compliant contractors. Oh my god. I mean, whatever works, I suppose. It's like, look, I've worked hourly wage jobs before.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing that you just kind of do. So.
Like, yeah, well, you put the mattress in there. It's standard. I'm a forklift operator. It'll be fine.
Look, man, I've done this 3 to 7 more times.
We do this every 2 months, and so far nothing's ever gone terribly wrong.
I mean, okay, yes, the only reason it's 3 to 7 is because 4 of those did fail. But not catastrophically.
Yeah, we're not even sure whether we should count them.
We're not even sure what happened to those guys. Anyway.
Anyway, get in.
Come on, get on. The SS Roof Repair is ready for its maiden voyage. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, they do kind of float the idea here that it's just like, you might be able to join the exiled gods. You can't. Dude, she is listed as a boss for obvious reasons. But still something to think about.
Well, these Magisters are kind
consider.
of lightweight so far.
What is?
The Magisters, or the sorcerers that you're fighting.
I mean, to be fair, it is largely just bees around here.
Yeah.
This hallway, though, on the other hand, is pretty great. I'm a huge fan. They should have just put more of these statues around here. I don't know, maybe they're really expensive. Or maybe they're just really heavy and they couldn't move them around to the other parts of the dungeon.
I like that where it's like the background becomes the foreground. I know that's like a classic like trick with these kinds of games, but it's a really good trick.
Why are there so many of these things here?
Yes.
It's like you can't even just dash through. You can't even just dash through without like without losing all of your stamina and taking damage from at least one of them. Oh my god. And as you can see, as we come back, I'm currently down to about 25% health.
Does that say?
That's an annoying little hallway.
So in the soundtrack, or in the sounds of the game, does like that say anything when he claims you?
You get like a little bit of a sound effect type of thing.
Or it's like
mostly just like. No, he doesn't laugh. You're his employee.
Oh, okay, well.
He's not there to make fun of you. Well,
Hades.
maybe a little bit.
I mean,
we've seen
didn't you
earlier.
just play Hades? I mean,
True. 16 heat run.
Okay.
Like which I did on my first try with a weapon that I just unlocked earlier in that stream.
You know, I also
Once again, I don't know why this is turning out to be my like hubris arc, speaking of which, but we're currently in the middle of that story arc as we're recording this episode.
Well, here's the thing. I also beat Hades 16 heat on my first try. It's really weird.
Oh, nice.
You know what I did? I moved the time pact of punishment down to 5 minutes per area, and I just barely got through it. Like, it was like, I got...
What actually happens when you run out the clock on that?
I think what it is it's like you get like full malaise kind of thing where you just start dying. Like,
You just start taking massive damage.
really quickly, like, seconds.
By the way, very subtle cut that happened there, because that stupid chest appearing on the ceiling tripped me up for so long.
By the way, it is weird that like in this series we've been basically doing like the DVD thing. It's like you probably won't even notice there's a cut here unless you really look for it. But there's definitely like,
And hey, I'm even being like extremely like moments of retention and everything about the gameplay being so good.
yeah.
the true directorial experience. Like, no, you don't see. It's like this boss normally would really be very difficult for people to fight. But I did something here where I was able to dodge. I got the rhythm down for the attacks so well that I never got hit by it.
Yeah, most people don't realize that you can actually include music from the 60s and 70s. You just have to pay somebody to do it. Not on YouTube, but for like in.
You can actually include music from Banjo-Kazooie at no cost.
That might be
That's
true.
not going to happen for the rest of the series, by the way. That was a one-off
Okay.
because that boss was taking so goddamn long.
Was it,
Oh, it's Evil Soren again.
was it that one? It's like dun 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 dun. Dun. No, I didn't do the melody.
Man, we got to stop like spending 3 weeks in between each one of these episodes. It was Rusty Bucket Bay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We all you know.
Yeah.
Like, what else would you put for this game?
As I said, I think in that episode 3 weeks ago, I'm a huge
You
fan.
might have said a couple things that we've said in previous episodes, which I have a stupid, well, like what is the word, eidetic memory for that. That I didn't want to call you out on,
But yeah.
but that might have happened.
I'm a huge fan of Grant Kirkhope and Banjo-Kazooie. I probably said that.
Oh, dude, the fantastic recording artist. You ever hear the soundtrack for like Mario and Rabbids? Also
No,
composed
I
that.
haven't.
It is very Grant Kirkhope-y, in case you're looking for it.
Yeah, he does a lot of wild stuff with chord progressions. People don't remember. Grant Kirkhope was a bucket. Okay, that's an NBA Twitter specific meme. I'm not even gonna.
That is a sport thing.
Yeah, sports ball.
Which is just like I do know that slamming buckets and whatever is a thing that you do in I don't know
In
anything
basketball.
about this. I don't know
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
about sports. I'm sorry, everybody. I failed you
Yeah.
as your dad. I should at least have basic knowledge of all sports.
You're like, damn it, I gotta research every sport now.
Ugh. Let me go put on my jersey, pour myself a beer, and put on the cheese hat. I do have one of those because I'm in Wisconsin.
You gotta watch every NFL films. There's 1,001 NFL films, and they're all an hour long, and you have to rip them from YouTube.
Oh, let's start with Friday Night Lights and go from there. Oh, this is actually way better than I thought. It's not even that much of a sports show, is it?
I think it's got a lot about sports. I mean, it is like... Yeah.
But it's like it's more of a drama. Okay, look. Okay, well, let's just throw on the full Air Buds series next. Wow, I never... Wait, there's no rule about that in football?
I will say Friday Night Lights was probably more about football than Air Bud was about basketball.
I honestly thought that Air Bud was about football until you said that.
Oh, well...
I never saw it.
Okay. There was another one with football. I think that was the sequel.
There were a lot of those movies for some godforsaken reason.
Yeah, weren't there like others like in that genre, like there, not just like Beethoven, where it's like, oh, it's a dog and like he's gonna get into mischief.
Beethoven's Fourth. Oh god, I remember that was one of those movies that's just like appeared in every single like video rental place.
Yeah.
Just like, I guess I saw it just based on the fact. You know, I don't get that. They're like, you know, video rental movies that it feels like were extremely famous just because you saw them all the goddamn time in video rental places, but like nobody's ever heard of like 20 years later.
I had the kind of family that would, or you know, the extended family that would just have a TV on at Thanksgiving continually, and so that's the kind of thing that they would watch, along with, of course, like all the other like Lifetime movies and stuff, where they would just shout at like, "Oh yeah, you bastard!" Like when they're seeing the villain on the screen. Like,
yeah, no, that's definitely not what my family's like either. No, definitely. This is not an unrealistic sort of. Hey, it's the Phoenix Bow, everybody! I was talking about this thing. This is. I did not plan to be using this in the Phoenix Daggers eventually, but like, this is these two items are the major like the cornerstones of my build from this point on. Now that I got them, well, this point on for heroic fights. I think for the regular fights, I switch that up, but you know, we'll be seeing a lot more of them. Is what I'm trying to say. Not at all planned for me. It just happened that way. I think like the number one thing I always think of with and one thing I always think of when it comes to like video rental places and like how nobody knows about them is Buck Bumble. That game I just remember seeing all the time.
was that the one with like the bee?
I think I rented it like once.
Within the theater.
Like it was like a platformer, like with a bee.
Oh, it was 3D. I think it was like 3D, like you know, you fly around and like bomb things. I don't even remember. It's got a great opening, but that's the only thing people know about that game anymore.
For he is no more a harbinger.
Or more of a harbinger of madness than a teacher. Wow, these are words. I want everybody to remember this cutscene in particular for some future stuff.
Okay.
Remember, it's just like the Elder Gods. They might not be evil as much as they are just unknowable. They might be bringers of madness or teachers to some. So just think about that.
Okay.
Just like remember those lines in particular, and like the general level of reverence, especially that the Grey Warden has for the exiled gods.
Harbinger, teacher. I'll remember that.
Harbinger, teacher.
The
Two sides of the same coin. You had two wolves
teacher.
inside of you, the Harbinger and the
Teacher is
teacher.
a harbinger, harbinger's teacher.
Well, you get the shtick of this fight, of course. It's like, once again, a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. Again, UNON was her question mark is playing in my head right now.
A lot of like clones and whatnot here too. But yeah, basically it's just like in lore, the Grey Wanderer is supposed to be sort of like a saintly type of figure, but it's like here we find out that basically, yeah, she's just been here like listening to the Eldritch gods and what they've been talking about, and is like, you they're actually pretty cool. So I'm going to pretend to be cool, but then actually just spend all of my time doing the bidding of Cthulhu.
It's weird because you see how this has like probably the most Toho like graphics, but this feels more like a Metroid boss fight in a weird way.
I can see that. I mean, especially like purple lightning alone is something that I would see very like a Metroid style.
Yeah, and the lava.
But yeah, I came in here, you know, like I said, after like fighting 8 heroic bosses, not a problem.
Yeah. By the way, would it be pronounced UN Owen was her? Or how did you enunciate that? Because it has that question
Well,
mark.
UN Owen is reference obviously to the Agatha Christie novel.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
So I mean, and it's supposed to be unknown, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just supposed to be UN Owen.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because that is like, you know, originally English.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, and like I was talking about, what is this place called? Couldn't remember it earlier. Maybe now. Stranded Isles. Okay, thank you. I will try and commit that to memory, but not actually do it.
Okay.
Look, it's hard. But yeah, it's like Stranded Isles up here. I need the stinger of a creature, and then everything else I have, so it's all cool.
There's Stranded Isles, which are the tombs in the sky.
Not to be confused with the Sky Tombs, which is where we fought Sirad.
Well, that's where...
Dome Flame, Piece of Meteor, Stinger Creature. There you go.
That's where the islands that are stranded are. At the Sky Tomb.
Islands in the sky. This is who we are. How did that...
I don't know. I thought you were going for Spirit in the Sky, and then I wasn't able to.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, I guess you're not familiar with that song, then. Mm-hmm. I'm barely familiar with that song, so it's like, what do you want from me?
Island stranded in the sky. I can go twice as high.
Just take a look. It's in the sky.
You're in the sky, too.
Stranded islands. That's kind of the entire song. It's like the bad parody has to end there.
Yeah, we can't, like, that wasn't like a trenchant satire of LeVar Burton's work. Like,
we're gonna have to try so much harder if we want to satirize LeVar Burton's work.
Yeah.
I know that's been a big goal for this entire series.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
as of right now, that was kind of a pathetic attempt.
Yeah.
Heroic fights, let's go, everybody.
I like LeVar Burton.
Galaxy Mage Amulvaro, 22 deaths. Not as bad as it was for the Inquisitor, so I guess I'm happy with that.
It's really stupid that he's not hosting Jeopardy. It would have been perfect.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, you know, dude is also like, whatever, not a big deal.
Yeah. It's just like
I got other stuff to do.
You have to choose
like,
one
as far
person
as I know,
to
he's
do
not
that.
super broken up about it.
On Earth to replace Alex Trebek, you would choose LeVar Burton. I can't believe they dropped the ball on that.
I didn't actually watch it, though. Could have probably like asked my dad or something who watches Jeopardy all the time. All right, so heroic version of Amulvaro is something. I mean, obviously you can see it's just like, yes, every one of his attacks is like that much more wacky and weird there too. But we also got just like a lot of, oh my god, this is going to be another one of those fights where I spend most of the time explaining mechanics. So for example, you remember in the original fight that those the orbs that he summoned were all of those blue ones. Now he summons one blue orb, one green orb, which on breaking gives you increases damage by 100%. You can see that in the upper right corner. One of them is like a white one that has actually quite a bit of health. It's sort of hard to kill unless you're really focusing on destroying it. That will just like shoot out projectiles every once in a while. One that is a red version of the like blue water molecule things that. Okay, on hitting the red one, what you do is you lock in place the damaging like particles that it shoots out. And what you're supposed to do is guide the jellyfish that gets summoned through that before it disappears to be able to destroy it in time if you don't have the increases damage by 100% on there. It took me a while actually to figure that out. So
is this that thing from like where like Papyrus and Sans are messing with you when you first meet them and they're like,
yes, the puzzle.
Yes. Like that's what that sounds like to me.
I mean, yeah, but it's like you actually have to do it. And then also, like, yeah, that dash attack gets that much more difficult along with everything else. And, like, the place where he throws out a bunch of the slices. It's like they boomerang back onto you, and like so many of these boomerangs and everything here, or not boomerangs, these meteors and everything here too also appear. It's like you want to try and time it so you can kind of go back and forth because that's the easiest way to do it, but like, oh. And then as you get halfway down, then instead what happens is he stops summoning up like the plus 100% damage buff one, and now you will get 3 jellyfish. And you have to deal with them with only one of the red things.
Listen, I ain't got time for this shit. The point is, there's a mage
many
pondering an
mechanics at play
orb,
here.
and you have to out ponder the mage at
Yes.
pondering the orb.
I mean, basically, more or less. So yeah, like the thing is, what you're supposed to do is here, you're supposed to just go and whack the red orb once to get the 2 white balls to line up in a way that you can guide the jellyfish into it, which I don't even think I figured out by this point in the battle. I just kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna run around here and hope that it works out because I'm stupid and I didn't do any sort of extra. But like with all the other mechanics that are happening here, do you blame me?
No, and honestly, what you're talking about, that is what the gamer god would do.
I mean, yeah, true. It's like I also, if there's only like one of the jellyfish around there, God, Light Arrow is so goddamn amazing in this game. Let's just say that. It does so much damage. That's why it became such an important part of my basic build, because like, damn, dude, you just can't do better than the Light Arrow skill.
All stars are eventually consumed into darkness, and you will be too. I like that he's calling you a star. Like, he's admitting it.
Hey,
you're a goddamn star.
you're shining star, no matter who you are. So anyway, those things will just like stay around here forever if you don't destroy them. And once again, much like the blue things, it will. I mean, the blue things, I guess, do eventually go away. I think on like phase changes or something.
Is that because oxygen is flammable?
Yes.
I actually don't know what they're going for at all. I have no idea.
Oh man,
That is such a
that
confusing fight.
Only 22 attempts, but it's just like, yeah, trying to like figure out the mechanics on the fly are kind of ridiculous. So, heroic version of the Grey Wanderer, the Black Wanderer. Yeah, you get it. As it turns out, there's not actually 4 great sorcerers in the world. 5 great sorcerers in the world. There's 4.
Ooh.
Because one of them, it seems like, was kind of lying about their identity the entire time.
Black Wanderer.
Clever way of doing
there
a
were
heroic
5
boss
of us,
fight
but
again.
now there are 4. Sorry, that's a Brian Eno. It's a really good parody right there. Just trust me.
Oh, I'm not familiar enough with Brian Eno. I should be watching more of them. But yeah, it's like at this point in time, we got two permanent, or like 1 permanent clone rather than like a very easy to kill basic clones in the original fight, which has quite a bit of health. But I'm also very well prepared for this at this point.
I think it's from Before and After Science. It's like, it's the second track or something, Blackwater.
Before and after science. I'll have to check that out at some point in time. But anyway, otherwise, it's just like, the fight's actually fairly simple. It's like, she's like slower after you kill the 1 clone. Oh, hey, Amulvaro. Yep.
Wow. This will be over. For
What a way to do a heroic boss fight. Hey, I told you they were buds.
This is wild. Like, this is just like...
Yeah, and it is like full Amulvaro. This is like classic Amulvaro just kind of coming in here to be support. But yeah, they're friends.
Yeah.
I don't know why Amulvaro cares too much about helping the Wanderer, but whatever. It actually makes the funny thing is that it actually makes this fight like really good for farming souls. Just because if you kill Amulvaro, he basically gives you the same amount of souls as you would in a boss fight.
Wow.
I think the intent is not that you're supposed to kill Amulvaro, but you're supposed to focus down the Black Wanderer instead. But I'm too good at video games for that.
Damn.
That said, still nearly killed me there.
Wow.
It just summons in a completely separate boss and then still continues like throwing a bunch of projectiles at you.
How many attempts did
I would
this
have liked
take
it if
you?
they did like a little bit more.
How many attempts did this take you?
Not too many actually.
Okay.
Because after fighting Amulvaro so much, I kind of had his pattern down.
Yeah.
Especially like the heroic version of it. Well, yeah, I kind of almost would have liked the Black Wanderer to be a little bit more aggressive, because as soon as you actually take out Amulvaro, it becomes fairly simple.
Yeah,
to
it's
fight.
probably like that was not the intended way to beat this, I think.
No, Well, like I said, the intended way was just like you're supposed to focus down the Wanderer while Amulvaro is just like clowning on you. But
it feels
hey,
like that,
if you got damage, you can make that work.
it feels like she gets weaker once that happens, like significantly.
I mean, to be fair, it's still like 2 bosses at the same
Yeah,
time.
no,
so
I
I'm just
mean
saying, why
it's
not?
still it's pretty hardcore.
And this plume becomes the major plume I use for the rest of the game.
Oh.
Cooldowns, nice.
Cool.
Downs.